In an article in yesterday's National Catholic Reporter, Sister of St. Joseph of Carondelet, Mary McGlone, offers us a cultural framework to understand the story we heard in our gospel. The crux of it is that Jesus came from a collectivist rather than an individualist culture. Mary goes on to explain, in collectivist cultures like that of ancient Israel or many of today's Asian, African, or Latin American societies, people seek happiness through peaceful relationships more than through individual fulfillment. Children are brought up to cherish the good of the whole, and especially their family's reputation. So with that as background, let's return to our gospel, which opens with Jesus asking the chief priests and the elders to listen to a parable, right? 2 children asked to work in the vineyard. The first says, no, disgracing his family, and he later regrets that position and ends up going to the vineyard. The second child's initial response is right away, and yet never shows up. Which of the 2 children did what was wanted? Our gospel says the first. Let me suggest both and neither. Yes, the first labored in the vineyard. The second honored the family's reputation. From a collectivist perspective, peace in the family lasts a lifetime and is valued more highly than a day's work. From the individualist perspective, the child who worked went through a conversion, one that hopefully informs their future behavior. Mary McGlone concludes her article with the sentence, today's gospel is meant to jolt us as it asks, what is your opinion? That's a question I propose is worthy of reflection. Clarify your opinion. These days, we don't have to look far to see hypocrisy. A situation where one claims to hold certain values, yet chooses to take action inconsistent with those values. Hypocrisy echoes in the institutional church's rhetoric about the sanctity of life, in its response to the sexual abuse of children, to protect the institution and its culture rather than children in its care, to the snail's pace at which investigations like Mr. McCarrick's have been resolved. It's been more than 2 years. And in lip service given to fully including women in decision-making processes. We also see hypocrisy in the debate, and it was still a debate at the time that I wrote this, over how quickly to fill the seat vacated by Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court. We remember the same voices just 4 years ago, even those who invited us to use their words against them. The good news, my friends, is that even though we can see hypocrisy, there is an alternative. Today, let's explore what it means to be a person of integrity. Integrity is the opposite of hypocrisy. I like the way that the former UCLA basketball coach, John Wooden, describes integrity. He refers to it as purity of intention. Do we have any math majors out there? If we do, you can keep me honest as we confirm that the root of the word integrity is integer, meaning whole and complete. In terms of character, integrity equals adherence to moral principles. Be true to yourself. That's the message. So what is the invitation to us today? To go beyond talk and become involved in action for the transformation of the world. We are the hope. If that feels challenging, look around. Open your minds and hearts. The opportunities are limitless. And where do we find hope? Perhaps in a woman who, like me, this, however, is where the comparison ends, stood 5'1", who faced and overcame discrimination, and then channeled her energy and dedicated her life to, in Ruth Bader Ginsburg's own words, to fight for the things you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. RBG did not just believe in gender equality. Since the 70s, she fought and won cases that institutionalized equal protection under the law. Thank her if you are a woman who has a mortgage in your name, or if you're a man receiving Social Security benefits because your spouse died. Much has been written and shared on social media about the Jewish tradition. And in the Jewish tradition, a person who passes on Rosh Hashanah is a tzaddik, a good and righteous person. Ruth worked tirelessly to create a more just world, one that would perpetuate equality and access and be better for people. So when we say, may her memory be a blessing, we do not mean may we remember her fondly. Rather, the blessing implied is, may you be like Ruth. Jewish thought teaches us that when a person dies, it's up to those who bear her memory to keep her goodness alive. We remember her. We speak her name. We carry on her legacy. Jonathan Enton, who clerked for RBG when she was an appeals court judge, suggests that Ginsburg differentiated herself as a key strategist. She knew that every statement, every gesture, and every choice she made mattered, and she imbued them with meaning. We might remember her for lace collars, for adding an accessory that softened a black gown designed to allow a shirt and a tie to peek through at the neck. We might think of her as an icon or an extraordinary, amazing, pioneering groundbreaker. In many ways, her life was epic, and yet she was not fearless. She was human, just like you and me. This, my friends, is essential to her legacy. She was afraid and she took action anyway. She woke up crying and then got up and did the work day after day. True for Ruth and true for each of us. Fight for the things you care about and do it in a way that leads others to join you. Choose to act with integrity. God bless you all.